Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here to talk about Vieve Cosmetics. If you are not familiar with Jamie Genevieve, she is a content creator and the owner, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of Vieve Cosmetics. I will have Jamie's channel listed down below. I've watched her for years and years and years, but she recently launched her Muse eyeshadow palette. This is the second palette in her collection. She also has the Vieve Essentials palette, which I have right here, and I do believe I have a video getting ready with this one, a couple looks, something like that, so I'll link it down below. But now she has part 2, Vieve Muse, and this is the palette that we are here to talk about today. Now, I did create this eye look right here, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to create another look tomorrow, but spoiler alert, my plan is to upload this on October 25th, which is a Monday, which is my birthday. So hello, happy birthday to me. It's not really my birthday yet because I'm filming in advance, but my husband and I are going out of town, not really out of town, we're doing a staycation in Houston the weekend before my birthday. So I won't be filming that weekend. So I'm pre-filming now. That's why I don't know how many looks I'm gonna create with this palette, but I did still wanna give you my thoughts. I wanted to show you at least one look, hopefully two if I can film tomorrow, and that's what we're here to do today. But I'm rambling. Let's get on with the show. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly, and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking. I love makeup. I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so before we get into the looks, I do want to talk to you a little bit more about this palette, give you some close-ups, let you see everything, the details, all of the goods. So this palette can be found on the Vieve website. I do believe it can be found at Cult Beauty as well. On the Vieve website, it's 43 pounds. I don't know what that conversion is to US dollars, but 43 pounds. You can Google it. And this is supposed to be modern romantics. So on the Vieve website, it says that this palette was curated with everyone in mind. There are 10 powerfully pigmented and blendable eyeshadows ranging from ethereal shimmers and delicate base shades to romantic reds and smoky accents. The Muse palette lets you create the eye look you want, from the everyday to the truly exceptional. This is also 100% vegan and cruelty free and crafted or made in Italy. So we do have the standard Vieve packaging with like this black, the black packaging with the gold Vieve embossing. Why can I not talk today? What is this called? This, it's raised. This is gold. It is a little bit different than the Vieve Essential palette. The Vieve Essential palette is a little bit more textured and raised. I don't know if you can see in the video, almost like snakeskin-like, but not quite. Whereas the Vieve Muse palette, it looks like it's a little bit more of a, just like a soft matte black with Muse and Jamie Genevieve's handwriting. And when I saw this palette, you do get a mirror, by the way, in the front, and I like that you can fold it all the way back. But when I saw this palette, I was like, you know what? I am so into these like romantic rose berry tones right now, and I did enjoy the Essential palette. In my review where I talked about it, I said that I wasn't head over heels for it. The shimmers weren't my favorite, but the mattes were very blendable. So one thing that was a major selling point for me with this palette is the fact that Jamie listened to her audience and she changed her shimmers formula. So she mentions this in her video, and I will link her video down below. But in her original Essentials palette, this shimmer shade right here in Glimmer is like a typical shimmer. Standard, like not very much fallout, just like a normal shimmer shade. But I found with Carrot and Thea, they were a little bit chunkier and they had more fallout, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. So Jamie said this time around, she likes to apply those other two shades with a glitter glue. She knows that's not everybody's cup of tea, so she made Divine, Finery, and Regal to match the Glimmer shade in the Essentials palette. So they are standard shimmers, they don't have as much fallout, and they stick to the eye without any base just fine. So that's a little bit about the palette. We are going to go ahead and get into this look right here, hopefully another look after it, and then I will finish with my final thoughts. Okay, so to start this look off, I'm actually going to use this Vieve, what's it called? The eye wand in vanilla, I don't know that these are necessarily supposed to be used as primers. I know Jamie Genevieve uses hers in the color Sand as a primer, and I know that there are some that are different colors to help with the smoky eye. Vanilla is the shade that works best for me, and the only time that I use it is as an eye primer because, as you can see, it's like the natural color of my lids, and I don't love this as an eye primer. If you like the MAC paint pots, I think you will enjoy this. The reason why I don't think that it's a favorite is I do have to tug a little bit or use the warmth of my finger to blend it in. I feel like it takes a little bit to work through, and I do struggle with eczema on my eyes. Now, this has not caused the eczema to be irritated on my eyes, which is nice, but it is something just that I'm concerned about, I'm aware of. So I typically go for a little bit more of like a liquidy primer or creamy, but this does provide a good base. And since this is a Vieve video, we're gonna go ahead and use it. Now, an unset eyeshadow primer will make the pigment like more vibrant and stand out more, but I always set my eyeshadow primer. So I figured that I would go into, here we go, my Vieve Essential palette and use So Shy. You don't necessarily have to have this specific shade to set your eyeshadow primer. I feel like if you have any neutral palettes usually have like some sort of shade that you could use to set your eyeshadow primer. It just depends on your skin tone. This one would work for me, like fair to light. This is what works for me. Okay, and then here is the Muse palette. I'm sure I showed it to you in the beginning of the video as well. Haven't filmed that yet. I do like that you can fold these back completely. There is a mirror in here, but it's more convenient to fold it back. And I think Jamie said that she did that more so for like working makeup artists. So I think I might do an all matte eye. That's not typically something that I do, but it's something that I haven't done with this palette yet. So I'm gonna start by taking Peony, which, I mean, you could even use Peony for like a setting shade, but it pulls a little bit more like peachy pink. And I do have a neutral undertone, but it's just not light enough. When I set my eyeshadow primer, I want something that's really light. I mean, honestly, you could even use translucent powder, but there are plenty of people who don't even set their eyeshadow primer. It's a personal preference. We're gonna take Peony and just put that very sloppy all over. You can see it's not giving me too much pigment because it is so light, but for me, it's gonna help to create a nice transition, especially since I think I'm gonna do an all matte look. Okay, so then I'm taking this big fluffy BK Beauty 206. BK Beauty brushes are my faves right now, and I do have a code. I have a code and a link down below if you wanna shop and save some money. I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say it wrong, I'm pretty sure it's KBella10, but I think then I'm going to go in with Love, and I'm using this brush specifically because it is larger and fluffier, but it does have a flat side as well. So what I want to do is I want to take that Love shade and I want to put it on the lid, but also blend it up into the crease because I'm going to go in with a deeper shade on the lid as well, and I've used Love in the crease before, but I feel like by putting this on the lid and the crease, it may help the deeper shade blend more. I feel like sometimes if I try to do like a smokier eye, I often struggle with like blending in my crease shade. So the purpose of this for me, I haven't tried this look yet, but the purpose of this for me is to try and help it blend a little bit more. Okay, so one of my favorite brushes for the lid is the BK 203, but this one, I use it a lot. I don't wash my brushes very much. I just saw some glitter, and I don't know where it came from on my lips. That's really weird. Anyway, so this is my favorite lid shade, but I'm not going to use that one. I think what I'm gonna do is take my Royal & Langnickel medium eye shader, and I'm just going to go into this Merlot shade right here, and I'm gonna try and keep that on the lid to deepen it up, but without going in the crease too much is my goal. So let me just get a little bit of product. Ultimately, I want it to deepen up the lid, but not the crease. That's what I was hoping. Putting Love down first would make it easier when we get to the crease to blend and mesh the two. So you can see here, this eye has the Merlot shade. This eye is just Love. So it's like a similar color family, but a little bit deeper. And I am gonna go in a minute with that original shade in Peony and the fluffy brush that I was taking before and just kind of blend the edges. So this has that Peony shade, and I'm just kind of taking it all over to blend everything out. I think sometimes that's why I don't do a ton of matte looks, is I feel like it can get a little bit patchy trying to blend, but I actually think this is looking pretty nice. Okay, so truth be told, if I was not filming this for YouTube, this is probably where I would stop. But to try and get like an extra shade in there, I'm gonna take Velvet because I haven't used it yet. And this is a Morphe MB26. I think it's just like supposed to be, I don't know, very thin pencil brush. And I'm just going to take it with the Velvet. And I have small eyes, so I don't wanna line my whole eye. But I think I'm gonna put it just right here, like in the outer corner. Like I said, if I wasn't filming, I'd probably honestly stop where I am. But this will deepen the outer corner just a touch. Okay, for the lower lash line, I don't really want to do something with a red undertone because I feel like it'll make me sick. So I'm gonna go in with Source and just a pencil brush from Sigma and run that along the lower lash line just to try and make it messy and blend. And because this is a brown and doesn't have the berry, I might even go in with a touch of Love, but just like a light touch. So far this is just Source, and I want to use that pencil brush to blend it, smoke it down. I do have fine lines underneath my eyes, so I just kind of want to blend all over and make it nice and smoky. I love the BK204 for lower lash line work, and I actually am going to go into that Velvet shade, the deep shade that I used to line the upper lash line, and I'm just going to get a little bit and kind of wiggle it like right here in the outer V, but just keep it like right here, you know, keep it in the outer part. Okay, this random fluffy Inspire brush, it's super fluffy. I think I might go into a touch of Love, like literally a touch. And I'm just gonna use this more to like blend and smoke it out a bit. Okay, and if you're new here, hello, I'm Kelly, and I love an inner corner pop. So we are going to go in with Divine, which is a beautiful shade for your lid, but I'm just going to use my pinky and pop it right there on the inner corner to complete this matte look because I still want an inner corner pop. So I am going to jump off, finish up the rest of my eyes, pick a lip, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. This is the finished look right here. I don't know that I'm fully committed to this lip, but if you're curious, it's Juvia's Place So Rare Lip Liner with Charlotte Tilbury Kim KW lipstick and topped with a little bit of Buxom White Russian lip gloss. I went with more of a nude lip because I feel like when I filmed last weekend, my Pat McGrath video and the Pass Grabber Undecided that I filmed, I had a very monochromatic like rose gold eye with the She's a Tease lipstick from Dominique Cosmetics, and I was gonna go that route again, but I was like, let me try something different. So here we have the finished look right here. Okay, so I do have some time. Let me turn the brightness up a bit. Okay, I do have some time to film another look. I think we're gonna do a different look on each eye. If you see me looking off to the side, it's because Briella is boycotting a nap today, so she is next to me looking at some makeup. So we're gonna do one look on each eye using the Muse palette, and I'm gonna prime the same way I did yesterday. I'm gonna go in with the Vieve Eye Wand in Vanilla. Thank you. And I'm gonna follow it up with the So Shy shade in this palette right here, the Essentials palette to set, and then we'll come back to create two looks. Okay, if you see me looking off to the side a lot, it's because she's currently playing with my lipsticks, which she was doing yesterday, but yesterday we had 2 casualties. So let's go ahead and jump into the looks. I have a couple ideas of what I want to do. I think I'm going to start with this shade right here in Bow, and I'm going to put that all over the crease on this side using a fluffy BK 201. Okay, then I'm going to go in with my Rephr number 1 brush and a shade that I have not used. It's this one right here in Mystic, and it's almost like a purpley, like a cool tone plum shade. Let's hope we don't have another casualty. Oh, thank you. We are going to put that shade in the crease. I'm going for a cool toned crease and then the gold shade on the lid. So I'm going to build this up a little bit. Like I said, I haven't used Mystic yet. It's actually looking a little bit warmer than I was expecting. Thank you, babe. She's just like handing me things. Mom life, y'all, mom life. I think I'm gonna take a touch of this, whoa, peony shade and just kind of blend out the edges a little bit. You probably don't have to do this part. It's probably a little bit unnecessary, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna take that same Rephr number 1 and maybe go in with a touch of Velvet, and I'm gonna tap a little bit off. I just want to keep this like in the outer V, and the reason why I'm using a fluffy brush is because I want to diffuse the color a little bit. Are you leaving me? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Later.
Come back and visit me another time. Okay.
Mommy, I'm not a friend.
You're not what?
Not a friend.
You're not my friend?
I'm a girl.
I know you're a girl.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Y'all, life with a 2-year-old. She wanted to tell me she's not my friend, she's a girl. Okay, great. Anyway, I'm using this fluffy brush so that I can get a little bit of deepness in this outer corner, but I didn't want it to be like packed too densely. I'm very much into like smoky blended looks, which is probably no surprise if you're not new here. Back in with a touch of peony just to kind of go over all of the edges. Blend everything out. My husband, by the way, is here. He's in the other room, so that's why I'm just letting her come and go because she's awake. It doesn't matter. She can be in here, but she's running into the other room to play with him as well. Okay, going in with my favorite lid brush. I need to buy more of these. It's the BK 203. I only have one, and I haven't used this shade yet in Finery. So we're gonna put that all over the lid, and I always spray my brush, personal preference. There, you can see it right there. And just going to pat that right onto the lid. It's a very pretty gold shade. It's a very rich gold, a deep gold. So then going back in just in that outer corner with a touch of Velvet. And I might go back and forth a couple times. I just want this edge to be like a little bit deeper and smokier. Nice. Okay, so for the lower lash line, let's just go in with, maybe Mystic right here. And my Sigma pencil brush. This is a little bit of a deeper, more cool toned shade, so I might blend it out with something a little lighter as well. I think I'm going to tap into Source and just run that along the lower lash line as well. Okay, for the other eye, what are we thinking? Maybe I'll go in with Love right here. Yeah, and I'm going to use my Sigma, what is this, the E40? Just a fluffy blending brush. I would typically go in with the same fluffy brush from BK Beauty. That was now my dog that just opened the door. Don't know if you guys could hear it. You know, this is just life with a family. Dogs, kids. Going to blend this out. I want to use this Regal shade right here, but I'm almost thinking of doing like a little bit of a halo eye with Regal and putting Divine in the middle. That's my plan. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with my BK202 and a little bit of Merlot. I just want a little bit, just to deepen it out a touch. But since we're doing a halo eye, I don't really need too much in my crease. But I do have hooded eyes, and so I like putting a deeper shade in the crease to give me a little bit more depth and definition. Okay, here's my plan. Wiping off my BK203, I need several of these, and I'm going to use the other side of the brush, and I'm going to go in with Regal. And my plan, now I don't have a lot of lid space, but my plan is to focus it on the outer and inner part and leave as much of the middle of my eye blank as I can to make it a halo eye. Now this is difficult because I don't have a lot of lid space, but we're gonna try it out. Can you guys hear my dog? She just closed the door. My dog did. I was trying to leave it open so that Brielle could come in. She doesn't know how to twist to open doorknobs yet, which is not a bad thing. I'm not like anxious to teach her, but also I'm not trying to lock her out of the room. I had the door partially closed, more so to keep the noise out from the TV and such. But my dog just messed that up. So I did actually just take what was left over of Regal and blend it in the crease. I wish I had like an even smaller lid brush, but I don't. So I'm gonna use this one and just pack a little tiny bit more and blend it out. What do you think of my eyeshadow? Do you like it? Does it look good? Okay, I wish I didn't have so much on this inner part right here, so I'm just gonna try and blend it. And then we will go in, I think I'm just gonna use my finger to put that Divine shade right in the middle. As you can see, I left a little bit of space, but I don't have much room to work with. Okay, so I'm going in with Divine and my pinky, and I'm just going to press it in the middle, and then I'm going to use that BK brush to blend the edges on either side. Okay, so actually I really like these two looks because it shows the diversity of this palette. You know, because you have more of like a gold, warm-toned look, even though I used cool tone shades, and then more of like the rose shade. So I think what I'm going to do is take that same pencil brush from Sigma and go into Merlot and run that along the lower lash line. Okay, and then on both sides, I'm gonna take this Divine on my pinky and use that as an inner corner highlight. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off, put some mascara on so we can see the finished look, pick a lip, and I will come back to show you the finished product. Okay, so here is the finished look right here. On my lips, I did use Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner. I topped it with the Patrick Ta lip cream, the Silky Lip Cream. It's the Monochromatic Moment, and she's unapologetic, and a little bit of Marc Jacobs Sugar Sugar Lip Gloss. Now, after this, I do have like a review talking about the Muse palette, but I did have one thing I want to add. I feel like I'm really close, so let me back up real quick. Okay, so I did have one thing I wanted to add about these two palettes that I don't think I talked about yesterday. I did want to say that the Muse palette and the Essentials palette, I think they're really complementary to each other. I don't think that you necessarily have to have them both, but if you had them both, I don't think you'd be disappointed because they do have two very different color stories, but I feel like you could also use them in conjunction with each other. I'm trying to open them both up for you. Okay, so these are the two palettes right here. The Essential palette is on top, and then the Muse palette is on the bottom. So you can see there aren't like shade repetitions. The Essential palette is more warm toned, whereas you have like cooler rosy tones on the bottom, but you can definitely use them together. You can mix and match. There are definitely shades that would go together. So I did just want to add that I don't think you'd be disappointed if you had both of them. Now we will go ahead and end with my review. Okay, so final thoughts on the palette. I have to say, I am definitely enjoying it. I do recommend this palette. If you're into this color story, it's very like romantic. You can probably find these in your collection already if you are a collector, but it's definitely very like rosy with a hint of purple, a little bit cooler with some of the shades, but it's very beautiful and it's easy to create like everyday go-to looks in my opinion, because I'm a neutral girl. Like that's where my heart is. So I love this palette. The mattes blend beautifully. I'm so glad she changed the shimmer formula. That was what bothered me about the Essential palette. And I think the price point is very fair, especially for 10 very large eyeshadow pans. It'll take me a while to pan one of these, but I'm definitely into these eyeshadow palettes and I do recommend it. So with that being said, I'm going to close out the video. Thank you if you're watching this when I upload it on Monday, October 25th. Thank you for spending my birthday with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down below if you picked this up or if you're planning to pick it up. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.